All praise be to Allah, the cherisher and sustainer of the worlds, and peace and blessings of Allah be on his Prophet Muhammad, peace upon him, and his companions and all the righteous followers after him. This is regarding the sequel that we had on 17 January 2021 with Narendra Sahu. In that sequel, in that program, Narendra Sahu raised one question about satanic verses, saying that there are many hadiths about satanic verses which speaks about that how could Prophet Muhammad utter those words being a prophet of God. Now I insisted on that day that all the narrations, all the hadiths regarding satanic verses are undoubtful. They are not authentic, they are fabricated, and this is what I studied and this is what I remember, that all the hadiths are fabricated. Now today inshallah I will deal in detail about this fabrication. Tafsir ibn Kathir is a great scholar, he is a commentator of the Quran. He mentions about these satanic verses, and the satanic verses in question are, they are the exalted Gharanik whose intercession is to be hoped for. Tafsir ibn Kathir, the great scholar, he says this report is undoubtedly false on a number of counts. First point, he says its isnad is very weak and is not correct. So he says the chain of narration that we have for these hadiths on satanic verses are very weak and it is not correct, it is not sahih. Second point, he says the Prophet, peace upon him, was infallible with regard to the conveying of this message. So he was infallible. Third point, he says even if this report was sahih, correct, for argument's sake, the scholars have stated that it is to be understood as meaning that the shaitan caused the kuffar to hear these words. The Satan caused the kuffar to hear these words. Not that he put them in the mouth of the Prophet, peace upon him. So they heard from him, the shaitan, not from Prophet Muhammad. See Ibn Kathir's refutation of this in his tafsir of Surah Hajj, chapter 22, verse number 52. Many of the scholars of tafsir, the commentators of the Quran, mention the story of Gharanik, the story of satanic verses, and how many of those who had migrated to Ethiopia came back when they thought that the idolaters of the Quraysh had become Muslims. So this was the rumor they thought, and this story about satanic verses and about the coming of the Ethiopians who migrated in Ethiopia coming back with this rumor, all these reports come through Mursal chain of narration. All these reports, they all come from Mursal chain of narration, meaning there is a missing link, it is not authentic. And Tafsir ibn Kathir says, and I do not think that any of them may be regarded as correct, as sahih. So all should be discarded, all should be discarded, it is not correct. Tabri, another great scholar, he puts a disclaimer about the statement. He says, let him who examine this book of mine know that I have relied. As regards everything I mentioned therein, which I stipulate to be described by me, solely upon what has been transmitted to me by way of reports. Hence, if I mention in this book a report about some men of the past, which the reader or listener finds objectionable or worthy of censure, because he can see no aspect of truth, nor any factual substance therein, let him know that this is not to be attributed to us, but to those who transmitted it to us, and we have merely passed this on as it has been passed on to us. You can see in Abu Ja'far Muhammad ibn Jarir al-Tabari, Tariq al-Tabari, Tariq al-Umam wal Muluk, 1997, Volume 1, Darul Kutub Al-Ilmiya, Beirut, Lebanon, page number 550. Neither Al-Tabri nor Ibn Sa'd are responsible for producing these stories. Nobody is responsible for producing these stories. They just passed on ahead, they passed on to other people, so because science of hadith was not yet developed. Science of hadith was not yet developed. So they were passing all this report, hoping that in future scholars of hadith can differentiate what is right and what is wrong. The two verses of Surah Isra, chapter 17, verses from 70 to 75, and Surah Hajj, chapter 22, verse number 52, which are said to be revealed to rebuke the Prophet. They were revealed historically several years later, after the alleged satanic verses incident. So the verses Surah Isra, chapter 17, verse number 70 to 75, and chapter 22, verse number 52, which is supposed to be rebuking the Prophet on this aspect, they were not connected to the incident. They were revealed several years later after the satanic verses. So how can you say that these are revealed in rebuke of the Prophet? If I add these two statements regarding the story of Donald Trump, does the addition match? Just ponder over it. Does the addition match? If I say the first statement, Donald Trump is a good, honest and moral man and the greatest president ever. After making such a high statement about Donald Trump, I make another statement after this and say he raped pornographic actors and prostitutes and amassed millions through fraud. Then I say the United States will never have such a good, chaste president like him again. Now I'm asking, does the two statements in between, he raped pornographic actors, they match the context? They do not match the context. It is clearly visible that they do not match the context. In a similar way, the addition of Quranic, the addition of satanic verses in Surah Najm do not match the context. Let me read Surah Najm, chapter 53, verses from 19 to 25, and let us see the satanic verses, they match the context. Verse number 19. So have you considered Allat and Uzza? Allah is saying, have you considered Allat and Uzza? And Manat, the third, the other one. These are three deities, Lat, Uzza and Manat. Then you add the satanic verses here. Those are the flying cranes whose intercession is to be hoped for. Finish. These two are satanic verses which were in between, which are in between now. Now verse number 21. Is the male for you and for him the female? Allah is asking, is the male for you and for him the female, for God the female? Then that then is an unjust division. So now God is reprimanding. They are not but mere names, you have named them. They are not but mere names, you have named them. You and your forefathers, for which Allah has sent down no authority. They follow not except assumption and what their soul desires. And there has already come to them from their Lord guidance. Verse number 24. Or is there for man what he wishes? Rather to Allah belongs the hereafter and the first life. So I am asking, do those verses, do the couplets match in between the context of the Quran? Absolutely they do not match. They don't match. Like the example that I gave about Donald Trump, even these two statements, even these two couplets do not match the context. Qadi al-Iyad, the Judge Iyad statement, he is a great scholar. He mentions in his Al-Shifa, he mentions, and I quote him, suffice it for you that this narration was not documented by any of the scholars of sound hadith. This narration means about the satanic verses. This narration was not documented by any of the scholars of sound hadith, nor have any of the trustworthy narrators related it with a healthy, uninterrupted chain. The only ones to be interested in it are the types of commentators and historians who are interested in every strange matter, blindly compiling from the books everything their hands fall upon, whether it is sound or feeble. This is what Qadi Iyad mentioned about those commentators and historians who just copied right and wrong everything. Imam Razi in his commentary stated that the hadith scholars have declared this story to be weak, the story of satanic verses to be weak, and that when Ibn Khuzaymah was asked regarding this story about satanic verses, he declared to be forged from heretics. He declared to be forged from heretics. He also mentions that Imam al-Bahaqi stated that this story was not narrated, reliably, and that the narrators have been condemned, by hadith scholars. Fakhruddin Razi, Tafsir Ibn Kabir, commentary on Surah Hajj, chapter 22, verse 52. Ibn Hazm also declared that satanic verses story as a forgery, and that there is no reliable chain of transmission for it. I repeat, Ibn Hazm also declared that satanic verses story as a forgery, and that there is no reliable chain of transmission for it. Ibn Hazm al-Fasl al-Fil Malal, Volume 2, 308, 309, 311. Another scholar by Nikolai Sinai, he is an Orientalist, he is a white person. He says on satanic verses, he says, one must therefore conclude that the Quranic verses are apocryphal. Apocryphal means doubtful, and were not originally part of the surah. See what Nicholas Sinai, Orientalist, white person, he is mentioning in his historical Quran, in his historical critique of Quran. One must therefore conclude that the satanic verses, Quranic verses, are apocryphal. Apocryphal means doubtful, and were not originally part of the surah. This conclusion is also confirmed by the fact stressed previously by John Burton. He mentions, Nicholas Sinai, he mentions that in the tafsir tradition of the Quranic verses exhibit a strong connection with Q 2252. 2252 says, we have never sent any messenger or prophet before you into whose wishes Satan did insinuate something, but God removes what Satan insinuates, and then God affirms his message. God is all-knowing and wise, which is said to have been revealed as a divine reassurance in the wake of Quranic incident. Thus, it makes sense to accept Burton's explanation as the Quranic incident as a fictitious occasion of revelation. Fictitious occasion of revelation for Quran chapter 22 verse 52, albeit one that proved to be a grave liability for later and more theological conscientious Muslims. So even Nicholas Sinai says that these are apocryphal, doubtful, and it is not reliable, it is not correct. There is an alternative opinion. It was also said that Prophet, peace be upon him, used to recite the Quran slowly. He used to recite the Quran slowly, so that the devil lay in wait for one of the pauses and uttered those words in question with the same timbre of voice. Those that were near him heard it as if coming from the Prophet. Those that were near him heard it as if coming from the Prophet, peace upon him, and they attributed to him. It was not from Prophet, it was from Satan. Surah Najm, in which the disputed verses were purported to belong. Surah Najm, in which the disputed verses were purported to belong. was revealed in one whole in the 10th year of Hijrah. The whole of Surah Najm, chapter 53, was revealed in the 10th year of Hijrah. Now, the story of Abyssinians, the first Hijrah, the first migration to Abyssinia that took place in the 5th year between Rajab and Shawwal. In the 5th year between Rajab and Shawwal. Now, how then could the revelation of Surah Najm and the subsequent events prompting the rumors of mass conversion in Makkah that all took place in the 10th year be a cause for the return of Abyssinian immigrants in the 5th year? So the revelation of Surah Najm is in 10th year, the migration to Abyssinia was in the 5th year, and the coming was also in the 5th year. Coming back, listening the rumor will be coming in the 5th year, same in the 5th year. How can those two can be related together? It cannot be related together. There is no connection. Satanic verses story is unreliable. Some may try to appeal Ibn Hajar's argument regarding the story being authentic because the many Greek chains when looked at together give the story a basis. This is the argument of Ibn Hajar. But however, Sheikh Dr. Imad Sayyid al-Sharbini in his book Radd al-Shubhat Hawl al-Asmat al-Nabi fi Dawl al-Quran wal Sunnah, page 355-356, responds back to Ibn Hajar's by presenting the following points. As Ibn Hajar admits himself, accept not all mursal narrations. As Ibn Hajar admits himself, accept not all mursal narrations. Imam Muslim in his introduction to Sahih Muslim said that mursal narrations cannot be held as authoritative. That mursal narrations cannot be held as authoritative. What is mursal narration? Mursal narrations are those narrations where there is a missing link. One person is unknown. That person may be an enemy of Islam, munafiq, hypocrite, or Christian, or Yahudi, or Jew. Anybody he can be enemy of Islam. So that person is missing. That is known as mursal narration. Another scholar, Ibn Salah, said that mursal narrations are just like weak hadith. They cannot be used as evidence unless you have authentic narration from somewhere else to strengthen it. Ulumul Hadith, page number 49. Different schools of thought have put different conditions in regards to accepting mursal narrations. Thus, not all Muslims are required to believe this story, for it cannot be proven to be authentic in a clear-cut manner. Rightly, therefore, Ibn Taymiyyah, another great scholar, categorically states that the alleged couplet was put by Satan into the hearing of the unbelievers. The alleged couplet was put by Satan into the hearing of the unbelievers. Dr. Mohar Ali also notes on page number 697, Yet other versions state that it was neither the Prophet nor Satan, but someone from among the unbelievers who uttered the alleged verses when the Prophet had just completed the recitation of ayah 19 of the surah. Just when Prophet ﷺ, he completed the ayah 19, the unbelievers, they interrupted and they interjected those satanic verses. He argues on page number 700, and he says a second fact which needs emphasizing in this connection is that the text of the so-called satanic verses was no new composition made on the occasion mentioned. So this satanic couplet was not a new composition, it was known from before. The Quraysh, the pagans, the mushriks, they used to recite this couplet while circumambulating the Kaaba. It was an old couplet which the Quraysh pagans used to recite in praise of the goddesses while circumambulating the Kaaba. It is also to be remembered that the unbelievers used to create noise and disturbances whenever the Prophet or the Muslims recited the Quran publicly. Therefore, it is very likely that when the Prophet recited the surah and mentioned Allah al-Uzza in the course of his recitation and in a denunciatory strain, some of the Quraysh unbelievers instantly interjected and protested by shouting out that couplet. So it was the Quraysh, it was the non-Muslims, it was the mushriks, the unbelievers. They interjected, they interrupted in the recitation of Prophet Muhammad ﷺ, and they shouted those couplet which was known to them. It was not a new couplet. Some missionaries might reply back and say that there is several independent testimonies narrating the event. As Narendra Sahu that day insisted, there are many hadiths, there are many narrations, there are many testimonies, there are many hadiths regarding satanic verses. But again, we don't know the people in the missing link. We don't know who's that person. For all we know, it can be the same person that is missing in all the broken chains. If that is the case, then this wouldn't make all these narrations truly independent. They are not independent. This is the same narration, same person is missing, who's missing in the link. So again, there is no shred of objective evidence that can show that all these narrations truly are independent. Just for the sake of argument, let us actually say that this whole incident is true and actually happened. Let us assume that this happened. This in no way disproves the prophethood of Muhammad, peace upon him. It actually does nothing but convince us even more that he truly was a prophet from God, because Satan was exposed and the prophet was protected by God. Because Satan was exposed and the prophet was protected by God. If we agree Satan deceived the prophet, peace upon him, if we agree Satan deceived the prophet, peace upon him, for those few seconds by whispering those verses into him and tricking him into saying it, however, later on God protected his prophet and rebuked Satan and exposed Satan's failure in his attempt to bring people into idol worship. So his foil was interrupted. He was not successful. Satan could not be successful. This could only show that the author of the Quran truly is God and no one else. Of course, I reject the story, however. If people want to be stubborn and keep shoving it down my throat, then fine. It does nothing more than prove to me that the Quran is indeed a revelation of God by exposing the plots of Satan. So satanic verse doesn't do any harm to the Quran. Now, in the course of the discussion that day, you said Muhammad himself wrote the Quran. From where you get this information that Muhammad himself wrote the Quran? This is very, very tall and false claim. Please, if you are right, if you are correct, please quote me any verse from the Bible or Quran or Hadith where it says so, that Muhammad is the author of the Quran. You cannot find this statement anywhere that Muhammad is the author of the Quran. If you don't find such a statement, then you are the greatest liar, like Paul, Luke, John, Matthew and Mark. They are all established liars. You are also the same way, the liar saying that Muhammad is the author of the Quran. Muhammad cannot be the author of the Quran. Quran is the revelation from God to Prophet Muhammad, and Muhammad is the true messenger of God. This can be proved again and again. With this I conclude. Wa akhiru da'wana and alhamdulillahi rabbil alameen.